Hi, I'm Sam, and we are here to read the Word of God. Thank you so much for joining. This is day 21. Today we'll be reading from Genesis chapters 27 through 29. This is a longer reading than usual. We're going to read this in the World English Bible Translation. We'll make a few highlights. We'll still be done relatively quickly. I recognize this is a part of a morning devotional routine for each of us, and I'm going to limit my comments. There's so much here. I'm going to have a hard time doing that. It's so good. All right, here we go. This is Genesis chapter 27. When Isaac was old and his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called Esau his elder son and said to him, "My son?" He said to him, "Here I am." He said, "See now, I am old. I don't know the day of my death. Now therefore, please take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and get me venison. Make me savory food, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, and that my soul may bless you before I die." Rebekah heard when Isaac spoke to Esau his son. Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. Rebekah spoke to Jacob her son, saying, "Behold, I heard your father speak to Esau your brother, saying, Bring me venison and make me savory food that I may eat, and bless you before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command you. Go now to the flock and get me 2 good young goats from there. I will make them savory food for your father, such as he loves. You shall bring it to your father that he may eat, so that he may bless you before his death." Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. What if my father touches me? I will seem to him as a deceiver, and I would bring a curse on myself and not a blessing." His mother said to him, "Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go get them for me." He went and got them and brought them to his mother. His mother made savory food, such as his father loved. Rebekah took the good clothes of Esau, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. She put the skins of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth of his neck. She gave the savory food and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. He came to his father and said, "My father?" He said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done what you asked me to do. Please arise, sit and eat of my venison, that your soul may bless me." Isaac said to his son, "How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son?" He said, "Because the Lord your God gave me success." Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come near, that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not." Jacob went near to Isaac his father. He felt him and said, "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He didn't recognize him because his hands were hairy, like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him and said, "Are you really my son Esau?" He said, "I am." He said, "Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless you." He brought it near to him, and he ate. He brought him wine, and he drank. His father Isaac said to him, "Come near now, and kiss me, my son." He came near and kissed him. He smelled the smell of his clothing, and blessed him, and said, "Behold, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord has blessed. God give you of the dew of the sky, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and new wine. Let peoples serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers. Let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you. Blessed be everyone who blesses you." As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had just gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, Esau his brother came in from his hunting. He also made savory food and brought it to his father. He said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that your soul may bless me." Isaac his father said to him, "Who are you?" He said, "I am your son, your firstborn Esau." Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who then is he who has taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before you came, and have blessed him. Yes, he will be blessed." When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me, even me also, my father." He said, "Your brother came with deceit, and has taken away your blessing." He said, "Isn't he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. See, now he has taken away my blessing." He said, "Haven't you reserved a blessing for me?" Isaac answered Esau, "Behold, I have made him your lord, and all his brothers I have given to him for servants. I have sustained him with grain and new wine. What then will I do for you, my son?" Esau said to his father, "Do you have just one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father." Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Isaac, his father, answered him, "Behold, your dwelling will be of the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the sky from above. You will live by your sword, and you will serve your brother. It will happen, when you will break loose, that you will shake his yoke from off your neck." Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. Esau said in his heart, "The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." The words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. She sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, "Behold, your brother Esau comforts himself about you by planning to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice. Arise, flee to Laban, my brother, in Haran. Stay with him a few days, until your brother's fury turns away, until your brother's anger turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will send and get you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day?" Rebekah said to Isaac, "I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, of the daughters of the land, what good will my life do to me?" Chapter 28. Isaac called Jacob, blessed him, and commanded him, "You shall not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel your mother's father. Take a wife from there from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you, and make you fruitful and multiply you, that you may be a company of peoples, and give you the blessing of Abraham, to you and to your offspring with you, that you may inherit the land where you travel, which God gave to Abraham." Isaac sent Jacob away. He went to Paddan Aram to Laban, son of Bethuel the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. Now Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Paddan Aram, to take him a wife from there, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a command, saying, "You shall not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan," and that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Paddan Aram. Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan didn't please Isaac his father. So Esau went to Ishmael and took, in addition to the wives that he had, Mahalath the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife. Jacob went out from Beersheba and went towards Haran. He came to a certain place and stayed there all night, because the sun had set. He took one of the stones of the place and put it under his head, and lay down in that place to sleep. He dreamed and saw a stairway set upon the earth, and its top reached to heaven. Behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. Behold, the Lord stood above it and said, "I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. I will give the land you lie on to you and to your offspring. Your offspring will be as the dust of the earth, and you will spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. In you and in your offspring all the families of the earth will be blessed. Behold, I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you again into this land. For I will not leave you until I have done that which I have spoken of to you. Jacob awakened out of his sleep, and he said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I didn't know it. He was afraid and said, How awesome this place is! This is none other than God's house, and this is the gate of heaven. Jacob rose up early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put under his head, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil on its top. He called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of the city was Luz at first. Jacob vowed a vow, saying, If God will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and clothing to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, and the Lord will be my God, then this stone, which I have set up for a pillar, will be God's house. Of all that you will give me, I will surely give a tenth to you. Chapter 29. Then Jacob went on his journey, and came to the land of the children of the east. He looked and saw a well in the field, and saw 3 flocks of sheep lying there by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. The stone on the well's mouth was large. There all the flocks were gathered. They rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone back on the well's mouth in its place. Jacob said to them, My relatives, where are you from? They said, We are from Haran. He said to them, Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor? They said, We know him. He said to them, Is it well with him? They said, It is well. See, Rachel, his daughter, is coming with the sheep. He said, Behold, it is still the middle of the day, not time to gather the livestock together. Water the sheep and go and feed them. They said, We can't until all the flocks are gathered together, and they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we will water the sheep. While he was yet speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. When Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's relative, and that he was Rebekah's son. She ran and told her father. When Laban heard the news of Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet Jacob, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. Jacob told Laban all these things. Laban said to him, Surely you are my bone and my flesh. Jacob stayed with him for a month. Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what will your wages be? Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful in form and attractive. Jacob loved Rachel. He said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. Laban said, It is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to another man. Stay with me. Jacob served 7 years for Rachel. They seemed to him but a few days, for the love he had for her. Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go into her. Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. In the evening, he took Leah his daughter and brought her to Jacob. He went into her. Laban gave Zilpah his servant to his daughter Leah for a servant. In the morning, behold, it was Leah. He said to Laban, What is this that you have done to me? Didn't I serve with you for Rachel? Why then have you deceived me? Laban said, It is not so done in our place, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill the week of this one, and we will give you the other also for the service which you will serve me with, for 7 more years. Jacob did so and fulfilled her week. He gave him Rachel, his daughter, as wife. Laban gave Bilhah, his servant, to his daughter Rachel to be her servant. He went in also to Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him 7 more years. The Lord saw that Leah was hated, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Leah conceived and bore a son, and she named him Reuben. For she said, because the Lord has looked at my affliction, for now my husband will love me. She conceived again and bore a son, and said, behold, the Lord has heard that I am hated, and he has therefore given me this son also. She named him Simeon. She conceived again and bore a son. She said, now this time my husband will be joined to me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore his name was called Levi. She conceived again and bore a son. She said, this time I will praise the Lord. Therefore she named him Judah. Then she stopped bearing. All right, that was a great reading. Verse 4. You'll recall that Isaac has a special place in his heart for Esau because of the food. He's getting ready to die, wants a last meal, wants to sit and share that with Esau. He asks him to go get him a meal so that he can give him his blessing. This is what would typically happen to the eldest. Now, mom intervenes. It looks like she's a very deceptive person. Is she? Well, she was deceptive here. Did Jacob engage in it? Totally. Why? Because Rebekah had been told when she was pregnant with the 2 children in her that the older would serve the younger. This is going to happen. This is what God wanted. The mother says here, let your curse be on me, my son. This is when Jacob is pushing back, going, this could go bad. If he feels me and I have no hair on my neck or on my hands, Mom, he's going to not only is he not going to bless me, he's going to curse me. Mom says, let your curse be on me, son. Only obey my voice and go get them for me. Now get. I just love the mom phrase there. Now go do it. She had a plan. She put the skins of young goats on his hands and on the smooth of his neck. So she made the food and she took goat skin. Now I will tell you, that's really hairy. That's really hairy. Showed you a picture of that yesterday. It's called the werewolf syndrome. It is not good. Here you go. It looks like this in the event you weren't here yesterday. That's bad. That's a little boy in the Philippines. You will notice the diaper. This is when he's young. Esau was older than this. He's covered in hair like a goat. So she takes the goat skin and puts it on his hands and his neck, and he goes in to see his father. Now, the father is kind of surprised because he's back here so quick. He asks him, how did you do that so quickly, my son? You'll notice his answer. The phrasing here is key. Because the Lord your God gave me success. Whose God? Your God. He didn't say, because the Lord my God gave me success. That's really, really important. We're going to see more of that in a little bit. Put a pin in that. All right. Esau had a smell. He had a sound to his voice. He had a feel. So all the 5 senses were going off. Now, Isaac had lost one of his senses. He still had smelling, taste, touch, hearing. The voice sounded wrong. 2 things are wrong. He's blind, he can't see him, and the sound of the voice is wrong. But the food tastes like the food's supposed to taste. He feels just like him, and his clothes smell like the field. He's, 3 out of 5 ain't bad, right? He bit. And he gave him the blessing. Let peoples serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers. Let your mother's sons bow down to you. This is a fulfillment of prophecy and looks almost identical to the words that the angel gave to Rebekah years earlier. Isaac, when he realizes he has been tricked, is trembling. Now, you would think that he and Rebekah would have talked, that she would have said, the Lord told me that the older is going to serve the younger. So she wouldn't have had to trick him. Apparently, I'm not drawing any conclusions here. Isaac was tricked. He trembled violently. He realized he'd been tricked. Esau is extremely bitter, but he asked his father to dig down and find him a blessing. His father says, I've already given your brother everything. This was an irrevocable blessing. This blessing came out of Isaac's mouth. Done, man. This was done. But Esau just asked for a something. It shows a father's grace that he did find a blessing for him there. Your dwelling will be of the fatness of the earth and of the dew of the sky above. You're going to be a fighter. You are going to serve your brother. But it will happen that you will break loose and shake off his yoke from your neck. Jacob's got to die, right? Esau's going to kill him. Rebekah wants him to leave, but then Esau overhears Rebekah saying to Isaac, so the two do talk, I'm weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. These Hittites, right? If Jacob takes a wife of the daughters of Heth, the Hittites, such as these, of the daughters of this land, what good will my life do to me? She is miserable with these women who are presumably ungodly. Well, before Esau has a chance to kill him, Isaac calls Jacob back in and gives him a blessing and tells him to go to the house of Bethuel, his mother's father, which is his grandfather. He says that Laban, his mother's brother, has daughters. Go take a wife from one of them. It doesn't say how many there are, but go get one of them. All right. So Jacob flees. Esau had a pivot or change of heart here, verse 8. I highlighted this because Esau overheard that his mother and father did not like the daughters of Canaan. That was unpleasing to his father. So he went to Ishmael, who is kin, and took, in addition to his wives, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael. All right. Why did this guy not talk to his parents before he chose the first two? How did he come to this point in his life and realize that his father and mother were dissatisfied with the Canaanite women? Practical application. Talk to your kids about their spouses they're getting ready to choose and marry. All right. Jacob is now fleeing, and he comes to Beersheba. Now, he's laying on a stone, and he has a dream where he sees a stairway set up on the earth, and it's going into heaven. Its top reached up into it, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. All right? So the Lord is above it. This is Yahweh, is standing above it. And notice God's word here. Words. He says to Jacob in his vision, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. I will give the land you lie on to you and your offspring. Now, what does God not say? I am the Lord your God. He doesn't say, I am the Lord your God. He says, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. He's talking about his relationship with his forefathers. All right. Jacob finishes this dream, and he realizes this vision, and he realizes that he is at a place where the Lord is at. And he's like, man, this place is so awesome. How awesome this place is here in verse 17. This is none other than God's house, and this is the gate of heaven. All right, interesting tidbit. Of all of the stories in the Bible, they're so extremely interesting. This story does not appear anywhere else in the Bible. This is it. This is the only one. Now, the imagery of angels ascending and descending into heaven does appear later in the Bible, but there's no direct reference to this story. Okay, pretty fascinating. But again, the imagery, wait for it. We'll get there later, all right? Now, Jacob looks like Jacob vows a vow. He makes a vow. And look at the wording on this. Again, I'm going to finish up this thought. We've been putting pins all over the place. If God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go and will give me bread to eat and clothing to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, and the Lord will be my God. Other translations say, then the Lord will be my God. Then this stone, which I've set up for a pillar, will be God's house. And of all that you will give me, I will surely give a tenth to you. I have struggled reading over this because it sure looks like he's trying to make a deal with God. If you'll do all these things, then you'll be my God. And I believe that's what he's saying. Jacob is not taking ownership of God here, and God doesn't rebuke him for it. This is, okay, there are two words here, descriptive and prescriptive. Descriptive explains something that happened. Prescriptive says this is what you need to do. This is not a story where you go, this is the way it should be done, where we doubt and try to bargain with God. It's descriptive. However, in the description of this story, we see a great, merciful, kind, loving God who is reaching out to Jacob. The closest parallel that is nowhere near it at all would be me seeing my bride before we got to know each other, me going on my saying, wow, that is the woman I think I want. I need to find out more. If I find out that she's kind, that she makes good sandwiches, that she smells good up close, that she loves God, I want that to be my wife. Jacob knows that this is the Lord. He's living in an area where there are gods all over, supposed gods all over the place. And he says, if that God is that, then I'm going to serve him. And God is patient with him. That is so kind, so gracious. God is a gentleman. I got to be careful how much time I use here. Okay, look, come back to that. God does not force us into relationship with him. God doesn't make us go to heaven with him. God is a gentleman. He doesn't force himself upon us. He gives us the chance to come near to him. God just shows his greatness and who he is. And we can accept him or reject him. And God shows a flawed man who did not have full understanding yet and showed how much he loved him and waited for him. All right. Not a good idea to keep God waiting, though. All right, chapter 29. Let's zip here. Jacob is in Haran. He sees Rachel, who is the daughter of Laban, and he weeps and lifts up his voice and kisses her flat on the lips. It doesn't say flat on the lips. He kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. He would probably kissed her on the cheeks and lifted up his voice and wept out of joy at finding his kindred. Because then he goes and meets Laban, and Laban kisses him too. So it wasn't a romantic kiss. Yet. All right. Laban has two daughters. Jacob had been working with them for a month, and Laban, his uncle, says, "This just isn't fair. I should give you some wages. What do you think? How much should I pay you?" And by this time, after a month, Jacob has his eyes set on Rachel. Now, look here, the description here. He's seen two sisters here. He's been instructed to marry one of these girls, and he's attracted to Rachel. Okay, Leah's eyes are weak and Rachel is beautiful in form and attractive. That phrase, Leah's eyes were weak. Actually, what the word said, the name Leah means gentle. Her eyes might have been gentle. Or they were weak, meaning not well focused, or she had a lazy eye, or she had no sparkle in her eye. Different translations translate this all differently, which is very interesting to me. It is ambiguous. Now, the closest analogy I can give to that is to say, like, if I were to say, if I were to write about my wife, say my wife is so hot. Well, 2,000 years from now, somebody might look at that and go, let's see, he said his wife is hot. Does that mean she's hot to the touch? No. That's not what it means. Not hot to the touch. Beautiful? Okay, so beautiful means hot? Well, no, I mean, hot is not beautiful, and beautiful is not hot. I mean, you can be beautiful and be hot. You can be hot without being beautiful, but she's hot. You know what I'm saying? What's hot? We know what hot's hot. Smoking hot? Yeah, no smoke's coming off her. It's hot. Leah's eyes were weak. Don't know what that means. We do know what Rachel was beautiful in form and attractive means. She was a pretty woman, and Jacob loved her. Okay, verse 20. Now, Jacob served 7 years for Rachel. They seemed to him but a few days for the love he had for her. This sounds like a line out of Princess Bride, which is probably where Rob Reiner stole it from. This thought, the days just go by so quickly when you're in love, right? 7 years he worked for this beautiful woman. At the end of it, man, he's got a watch. He says, my days are fulfilled. Let me have her so that I may go into her and have sex, is what that means. So they have a feast. And in the evening, we know the story. Leah's put in there. The phrasing here in verse 25. In the morning, behold, it was Leah. What? He said to Laban, what is this you've done to me? Didn't I serve with you for Rachel? Why then have you deceived me? The irony, right? The irony. Jacob got his brother's birthright for a bowl of soup. He got his brother's blessing with goat skins strapped to his hands. And now he got a wife who was the not as attractive sister by his father-in-law. The deceiver beat by the deceiver. He was right to be upset. And all laughing and joking aside, because behold, it was Leah. That's funny. But this is not a good situation. God will use it for his glory. To have two sisters, one who feels loved and one who doesn't feel loved, is a bad thing. Being married to two women is a bad idea, but them being sisters is just the worst. Laban knew what he was doing. He just replied, well, we just don't do that around here. The younger doesn't go before the firstborn. So, you know what? Fulfill the week of her, basically give her her honeymoon. And then you can have Rachel too. But by the way, that's going to cost you another 7 years. Okay. If you made $50,000 a year being a farmhand and you worked 7 years, he spent $350,000 in labor for Rachel because he loved her. Then he gave another 7 years, another $350,000-ish for the one that he's actually in love with to begin with. He has spent the equivalent of $700,000 worth of life for these two women. Typically, you hear about a dowry where the father of the bride gives a dowry to the man for the taking her off of his hands. It's the other way around. Jacob gave $700,000-ish of life to this man for his daughters. Okay, this next section is sweet and sad at the same time. The Lord saw that Leah was hated. Don't know if that means, maybe that's a good translation. I don't know. Leah was at least not loved as much. As far as hatred goes, Jacob was going in and sleeping with her. It was his wife, but she was not loved as much as Rachel. Okay? 3 times here. Watch what happens the first 3 times, and then watch the pivot on the fourth. First, Leah has a son, names him Reuben, because the Lord has looked on my affliction. For now my husband will love me. Reuben means, look, a son, or behold, a son. Now my husband will love me. She has a second kid. Because the Lord has heard that I'm hated, he has therefore given me this son also. And she named him Simeon, which means God has heard that she's not loved. 3 times. She conceived again and bore a son. And she said, now this time my husband will be joined to me because I have borne him 3 sons. So she named him Levi, which means attached or joined. Once, twice, 3 times a lady. 4th time, she conceives again and bears a son. And she said, this time I will praise the Lord. Therefore she named him Judah, which means praise and thanksgiving. Then she stopped bearing. 3 times she was trying to make her husband love her. The 4th time, she praised the Lord. Yeah, Judah has a lot of significance as far as the children of Israel go. We'll learn more about that as we continue on here. Thank you so much for joining to read along and study a little bit. Thank you. Would you please like and subscribe and join again? We will continue, God willing, tomorrow on our journey here through the Word. Have a blessed day.